Howdy folks, my name's Calling Me Crazy. Welcome back to the channel. If you didn't know, I have an inbox. It's on the screen right here. If you want to go and send me some questions, any advice you'd like me to give, whatever you guys want. I'll make a separate video on it and you will be mentioned in the video if you want. If you don't, I can make you anonymous. Either way, it'd be another video for me to make and that'd be awesome. Today I'm talking about internet maturity because I've noticed over the long period of time I've consumed internet culture and media that my opinion has changed quite a lot, and just the way I consume stuff online and the things that I consume online. So let me start from the beginning. I used to be really enthralled with just anything on the internet as a kid. Um, as a lot of kids, I think at my time when I was growing up, I had unlimited internet access without any parental controls because my parents didn't really care enough for me to like have things I shouldn't be looking at, and that leads with some later down the line complications that I've probably talked about a couple times. Um, but that also leads to sort of this like enthrallment of being so invested in something that it really affects you as a person. So when I was watching YouTube, man, I was into a lot of different YouTubers, and everybody has their own group. My like top three or four were PewDiePie, of course. Me and my best friend loved watching him as we grew up, all the horror games he played. I was a big Markiplier fan. I've learned a lot from him, just from a like personal standpoint and like a very like father figure standpoint, but also like just the dude was funny and I loved watching his videos. And then some really funny guys I used to watch were, or actually it's just one guy, Tobuscus. If you guys know Toby Games, that was the stuff back then. And then maybe a couple others sprinkled around here and there. Nowadays, I kind of watch more like laid back YouTubers that do like Let's Plays still, like Oni Plays or Super Mega. I've been watching those guys for quite a long time now, ever since I was like 19, 18 or so. And it's changed. My opinion of like things have changed with what I know on the internet. And there was a big period of time where I would follow around YouTubers here and there that I usually didn't watch that much just because they had a lot of drama involved with them. And it was weird. I'm not a big guy when it comes to drama. Like, I'm not a big drama nerd. I don't really care about drama, especially in like high school. Oh my God, I could care less. Um, but it was weird because I would have gaps in like friendships here and there where there was a moment in time where I had my best friend move away for a while, and we couldn't really talk to each other very much. I guess we played games with each other a bit, but that outside of school or like inside of school really is where I kind of had a lack of like friendship there, and a lot of that time would be filled up with YouTube, um, where I'm watching so much of this person playing games or like doing stuff I want to do, and kind of having like a sort of like look in the camera, like fourth wall moment, where they kind of look at the camera and talk to you as like a viewer, and it gets to the point where as a kid you're so impressionable about that stuff that you create what's called a parasocial relationship. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of what that is. A parasocial relationship, just to break it down a little more, is a relationship you have with someone that doesn't know you, but you know them just based off of the information that they give you, whether it's watching somebody. It could be with like an actress or actor as well in like movies and shows. Um, but I think it's a little more personal when it comes to like YouTube and like especially like Twitch. Twitch is kind of like really like on the thin line of that relationship because you can actually interact with those people, and even though you are talking to them and they could be responding, or they just like notice you're there, there's definitely like a disconnect because they can't see you. First of all, that's like a big one. um, they don't really know who you are just based off some comments and stuff. They don't know what you sound like. They don't know where you live unless you just give that information out. They don't know anything really about you. So you're just kind of like a number on a screen or a bot almost. Like you kind of got like bot behavior going on, especially in streams. I think streams, the tons of people pop in and out of streams if you're like really popular, and they could be anybody. Unless you know the username and you know that person and you've seen them before in real life, you don't really know these people and they don't know you. And it's really hard to distinguish that as a kid, especially for me. When I was a kid, I would become so obsessed with the just things that would happen to YouTubers where they would start getting exposed and when cancel culture became a thing. And I would watch the latest drama alert, which I fucking hate that channel, but I would watch it just because I would want to know so bad about information and I would be nosy about things. I'm like, why am I nosy about this stuff? Like, why do I care? Um, it was just like a form of entertainment. I never thought I'd get my, you know, feet wet in, but I kind of dove like head first into it for a while. And then by like, I don't know, 2018, 19 or so, I kind of stopped watching that stuff. I think something just clicked in me where it was like, I don't really feel like that's necessary for me to watch and like a good way to spend my time. Just because I would get so upset or angry with like the decisions that some of the YouTubers I watched made, or maybe some of the people that were disagreeing with things that I thought were, you know, agreeable in comment sections or whatnot. And it would, yeah, I would get really upset. It would feel like I lost a friend or the person I watched and that I have a parasocial relationship to, like, betrayed me in a way. And a lot of people feel that way, especially when someone gets exposed for something that's illegal or just like really morally wrong. Um, I could give like 100 examples, but I'm not going to, just so I don't have to. I don't want to bring up those types of people. You've been there. I feel like a lot of you guys have been there, especially if you've been on the internet for more than, I don't know, 5, 6 years or so. Maybe even if you're as long as me, like 10 or 12 or longer. You've run into people like that. You've looked up to someone and somehow they were not the person you thought they were, and they did something bad. They got canceled, maybe. You were maybe misled, and you get upset because you liked that person, and now there's someone that maybe brings you pain or you just don't enjoy anymore, and they're not really someone you would want to look up to anymore, and it sucks. That sucks. But I think that just started to happen so much around that time, and it's harder and harder nowadays to get away with anything with the internet being such a vast place to expose people, collect data of someone, and find ways to, you know, dig underneath what a person does, you know, whether it's online or not. And I think I just realized at some point that it wasn't really worth watching. You know, you got accusation videos, you got apology videos, you got documentation essays. I mean, this shit would be like 2, 3, 4 hours long videos that people would make that aren't even like a part of, I feel like, the genre. I feel like there were just channels out there of random or like making videos of random YouTubers that they just wanted to get drama on. Hence drama alert. I feel like that's literally the point of their that channel. But it just wouldn't be like anything productive. I feel like you'd watch the whole video and you would learn like, oh, okay, this person sucks, and that's it. Or this person is innocent, and the whole reason for this to happen was pointless. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you're kind of just diving into people's drama that's their own business most of the time, or it's just like drama that was created from a cesspool of people that didn't really need to be a part of that. You know, there's a lot of problems when when you become famous. It's tough to really stay away from the crowd and have a lot of people judge you in that way. And yeah, eventually I just stopped watching that stuff. I didn't really care anymore. And I think I did what I was supposed to do in the first place when I realized I'm not interested in this stuff anymore. And that's grow up. I just simply grew up. I started watching things that didn't have to deal with drama. Um, all this stuff doesn't involve me or is like remotely related to me at all. So it's like, why do I even care? Even if I did, like, or if it was about me, I probably still wouldn't care as much because it's like I'm not that type of person to want negativity in my life like that or any drama. Um, and most of that stuff I just ignore at this point. And yeah, I just grew up, man. It's funny looking back. Sometimes I get like a throwback video that's from like 13 years ago or so, or someone like talking about like really old YouTubers here and there. And it's funny to look back at like past internet interests and like seeing the times where I was so involved in that stuff before. Um, and like some of the comments, dude. I would see like flashes of comments sometimes people would pop up, and it's like, dude, I could feel the anger off of some of those comments that people would make, and mine included probably. Um, and it's just crazy to look back at, but I think I really like was so involved in it and I was so passionate about it. That's why I cared so much. But yeah, parasocial relationships you got to be careful of, man. Um, Now being out of it for so long, and changing my climate of like internet usage, it's really incredible how much I've matured since then. And I feel like as an adult, that's kind of like what follows suit. And I that's all I gotta say, really. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, my little ramble, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.